Welcome to Journey JavaFX. This is the season 1 episode 10. Well, can't believe we are already reaching the double digit. In this episode, we're gonna work on copying files. Based on the file system. So yeah, let's start. All right, here is my notes. It's quite simple. We are using the same technique to loop through all those files, but this episode we are focusing on the in path and then output it to the out path, right? But we have a one condition filter for the files only, and then we're gonna copy them to a same folder instead of multiple layers of the files, because the idea is like this. This is where we left from last episode, because in our own file system I put all the JavaFX stuff in a subfolder. So our goal is we're gonna loop through this src folder, find all those files no matter where they are. We are going to copy them into the output folder, right? And also it has to be based on which episode we choose, right? So it's kind of multiple requirements. All right, let's get right into it. This is where excuse me, this is where we left from last time. To copy a file is pretty simple, but first we need to find where are our files, right? We're going to use the same library and the same objects. The first one will be string. We're going to say str in path, right? This is our source, equals to txt in path dot get text. Oops, get text, right? So now we have the source folder here. So now we're gonna using the walk to find all those files, right? We're gonna do it here. It's gonna asking for the walk will return a list of path, right? So we're gonna click create a list first. The list path. For here we're gonna say in folder, because it's incoming, right? So it's in folder. It's gonna be okay, new array list. This is kind of the format, in Java. If we want to create a list, just format to declare a variable, and in the same time the variable is a list. This kind of structure is just a Java thing, Okay, so now we have the list. We're gonna save whatever. Okay, so we're gonna say files.walk, right? And in here we're gonna pass in a path. We put it in here, and then we're gonna say to list, right? This is gonna return a list. Oh, this one's asking for a path, so we're gonna give it a path, get. All right, so now Java is happy. So now we get the list. Yeah, for demonstration, we're gonna loop through all of them and see what exactly inside of it. So we're gonna create a for each loop. So it's gonna be path, so the p, list in folder, and then loop through all of them. S out p, remove whatever the thing comes up by default, p dot to string, right? In this way we are just printing out the string into the into our log. Now we're gonna run it. Again, we put all of this inside of our test button, so we see we get all of this. I'm gonna paste it right here. This is kind of the content that we get from this walk. Gonna comment them out. So let's take a close look at them. So basically, this one's a folder, this one's a folder, right? This one's a file, because all files have file name, extension name, right? Not all of them, but I'm just saying in general, right? And then we see, you know, the files are locating in different level. This one is more like higher level. These two are, you know, sitting in the subfolder. So we need to add a filter to this. The filter is quite simple, and say dot filter, and yeah, we got to say files instead of, you know, it's kind of the mistake I made from last episode. But for this kind of thing, it happens all the time, you know. It's more like the more I mean, when we use the language more frequently, the more we will memorize it, right? But yeah, it's just kind of, you know, if I don't use it, I keep, you know, forgetting them. It's pretty quick. And for this one, the filter will be is regular file. No idea why it's called a regular file, but yeah, this is the way. I have no problem with that. And then in this way, we should see only these files, right? This is our expectation. Let's kill it and run again. Hopefully we get the result as we want. All right, these are the files, right? So now in this way, we're gonna be like this. Let me just use this. Make a copy of this line, so we know exactly what happened, right? In the notes, you will look like this, but now I'm gonna also comment it out, because this is the thing we really want. The portion above here is just like for you know, for documentation purpose. If you are working on this, sometimes you got confused, just take a look at this. What's the difference? And yeah, we have the filter. Anyway, so now we have a collection of all those input path, right? So we're gonna keep it, and we gotta do another thing. It's like we need to find this file name inside of the output, you know. So then we're gonna create a function to do this for us. To create a function is quite simple. It's more like this: say public or private. It works either way. So now we are returning a kind of a string, right? It's not a void anymore. We're gonna say string. Let's say get file name from path, right? And then over here we're gonna pass in a path. Let's say p, right? All right, it's asking for path. No big deal. Okay, give it some space, and then here we're gonna do something like this. We need to find the file extension. Oh wait, I have a new idea. Probably we already have the function. Just s out p. P is the path, right? Get file name. All right, we don't even need this. We have a tool right on hand. Let's test it. Yeah, perfect. This is what I want. Where should I put it? Nah, it's okay. All right, so this is the file name, and to do a file copy, we need to construct the copy paste. You know, it's more like a copy files. Where's the in? Where's the out? Right? That's pretty much of it. So then we're gonna declare a kind of two variables. It's more like a string in file name, right? And it's gonna be empty first. String str out file name, give it a empty value, right? So now we are going to do this. Within the loop, we're gonna set value to those two new variables, right? So in the loop, we're gonna say str in file name is going to be p dot toString, right? This is the result, right? This is the result. So this part has no problem. Sorry about that. It's my cat. Yeah, don't bite. Yeah, and then we're gonna construct out portion, right? So str out file name equals to okay, we need one more. This is the in path. Okay, we're gonna need a string out path equals to text out path dot get text, right? We need this. So the out path will be string out path, right? And this one will looks like something in our demo folder, looks like this, right? But this is the root of all those subfolders. So this one gonna be plus a something like this, and then we are going to plug in our subfolder name. So now is the tricky part. Where the subfolder name come from is here, right? So we got take the value of our selection, right? Well, luckily this is already the full path, so I'm gonna utilize this. So in this way, this part is no longer needed. Output path, this is the name. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so now we need to get string str list view IP. So selection. It's a little long, but it's just it's just easier to recognize it, right? But in real life, I never put a variable name like this long. It's only for this demonstration purpose. So now we are going to extract this one to find out which element we choose from the list. Make sense, right? So to get that is more like to get selection model. This one is pretty long, and get again selection item, selection mode, selection. Yeah, I think it's this one. Dot toString. We can test it. So for now, we're gonna comment out this line. Yeah, I'm gonna comment out them first to test out this function, and I'm gonna say SLP, whatever this thing is, we're gonna print it out, just making sure our selection part is good. Okay, let's test it. So now it means whichever I select, it should be printed out, right? So more like this. I click the first one, test it. Yeah, looks working. Then I choose the fifth one, test it. Okay, it means we are able to retrieve the selected item itself, right? So this part will be useful. So then the selection the value will be passed to our string out file name, right? Equals to this. Equals to this. Okay. So now we can work on the copy paste portion, right? So now we have this one. We're gonna connect a thing like this to it, and also the name, right? The name will be okay. I think it's good enough for now. Now we already have the the previous thing. I mean the prefix, whatever for the full file name for the output purpose. Okay, so now we're gonna use this. So remember, we can do this plus p dot get file name, right? So now we're gonna do a printout. We're gonna do a printout, something like this. Let's say, just to test them out. Because ideally, I want something like this. It's more like, for example, we want to copy it to here. What I'm waiting for is more like a copy paste thing. This is the to part, right? This is the to part, and then whatever the file thing, we should have something like this. Oops. Or the one I'm looking for is this. Source file, right? And also another type, because we have the subfolder in our source part, right? We have the JavaFX subfolder. It's more like this. The output part will keep the same, but we need to distinguish two of this, right? Make sense? I save it in the notes, and then we come back. So we're gonna do this, and this is the output, plug in the file name. So this will give us all those things. Okay, now I think we are good. I thought P, we print it out and say string in plus something like this. Just test them out, make sure if it follows this pattern as string out file name. No, that's in file name. Okay, so now we run it. We should be able to see it. Yeah. So now this is a selection to string. Oh, okay. All right, let's run it. Finger crossed, it should work. All right, we're gonna refresh it, make our selection. We choose the first one, test it. All right, I'm gonna copy out this whole thing and make sure this part follows the our direction. I'm gonna copy paste and comment them out. Okay, you can see, let me make them all align. So the first file, which is the controller, right, it's kind of inside of the JavaFX subfolder, but in the end we get this, right? And the second one is the fxml file. It's inside of JavaFX, and the output will be this. For some reason, why it's like this? It's doubled. It doesn't make sense. And the first one is okay. That's pretty weird. JavaFX controller.javafx. Oh, I see why. Okay, probably because of this. So we're gonna initialize it, right? We have to initialize it inside of here. All right, this part we leave it here, and yeah, just in case in file equals to, in case we have something carried over from last loop, right? String out file name equals to this. Yeah, even if it's kind of gray out, but it doesn't matter. It's more like we just want to make sure the two thing is kind of exactly empty before each loop starts, right? Let's do this again. So in this way, it should fix this issue. Let's kill it, run it. First, populate this list. We make our choice and then test it. Yeah, exactly. You see, last time we have the duplicate names, but this round we are clean. This is what I want. Okay, make them all aligned. All right, so we can see, make us some space, and this part will be, let's say, not ideal, right? not ideal. Okay, this part is like JavaFX, it's controller, no problem, JavaFX. That's the file name, and then this is the one. Okay, I think we are ready to do that actual copy paste. We're gonna do this. To make a copy, it's quite simple. Files dot copy. And what parameter it takes? Yeah, I prefer the first one, it's easier. Pass source and then pass target in and out, plus some copy option. The copy option is more like, when there is already a file like this inside of the folder, in the target folder, the program will do a couple of things, either override it or throw out an arrow, something like that, right? But for our purpose, we're gonna use the override, right? So the source will be str in file name, and target will be out file name. And for this one, it's pretty tricky. Standard copy option, we're gonna use this, plus replace existing. All right, this one is a little tricky. It took me a while to find this value. And why we have this cannot resolve the method copy whatever. That's pretty weird. Why? Let's check. Oh, it's asking for a path, right? Yeah, it's the same idea. All right, let's give it a path, right? So now we have the path. Path is .get, and here wrap it in a path. Now it's happy, right? So now we're gonna test it. The result we are expecting is more like, inside of this S1E10, we are expecting 3 working files, which is the one we are just working on. And these files will go straight to this S1E10 if we select this on the list view. Make sense? This is the kind of, our target. Okay, we're gonna kill it and run it again. All right, so now let's refresh to populate this list. I'm going to select E1 and then test it. Okay, everything looks okay. So now let's go back to the folder. Voila, we have the files. Let's just open one of it. The Java part, right? The controller part. So now we see this kind of thing, exactly same as the stuff we have in IntelliJ, including all those kind of samples, right? So it's working. That is super cool. But to make it more robust, we still need to do some tweak, For example, let me show you one thing. Yeah, we're gonna run it. Say, yeah, we populated the list, but we didn't make our selection. So then what's gonna happen? I believe it will throw out some exceptions. Let's try it. You see why it's doing this? Because if we don't make our selection, this part will be gone, right? Make sense? So then we are copy pasting to a place that doesn't exist. Make sense? Right? Because when we concatenate the two things, if this one is not there, then there is no such a subfolder, right? We can try this more like this. More like this. Let's comment out the actual copy paste part, kill it, and run it. Refresh, test it. Or even in this way. Let's check the error message. It's more like, oh, cannot invoke object to string. Oh, it's even before that. It's this line. It's this line. The issue is caused by this line. To to handle this kind of scenario, we can do this kind of a workaround. So before this, we're gonna test it. So it's more like this. Let's say if list episodes dot get selection dot get selected item equals to null, right? Because if we didn't make selection, it's null. And then we're gonna do something like this. Let's create a fancy alert, and then let's call it alert arrow equals to new alert, and alert type is arrow, right? So over here we're gonna set the alert arrow object set content text, right? We say most likely you didn't select a number from list view. Yeah, it's pretty long, whatever. And then over here we want to show it, right? Alert arrow dot show and wait. I found the best way to show you how what's the difference between show and wait. You know, we talked about this in last episodes. Now I just have an idea. Return. All right, by plugging in this return, it means, you know, whenever we coming into this kind of scenario, this return will just give up the whole thing. Whatever we have down below, it won't even run. Okay, this one is like a true give up. I just give up, right? So yeah, and then if it's equal to now, we're gonna do this. Else, we're gonna else we're gonna do this. All right. So string list view selection. So this one no longer needed. Okay. Why? Oh, I see. It's because of this. Okay, we're gonna copy paste it out. Paste it here. Give it a initial value, right? And then over here we're gonna take it out. So now everything is happy. All right, so then we're gonna run it. It means if we don't have the selection, then give up, right? And now we have the show and wait. Let's test it out. Okay, let's do the refresh. We didn't choose anything. We're gonna run test. All right, say most likely you didn't select a member from the list. So now you can see the whole thing is still not finished. All right, we don't have that exit code showed up. When we see the code, it means whatever this thing is kind of done, right? So now we're gonna say okay. Oh no, it doesn't work out. Sorry about that. I mistake it. Anyway, but I can show you in this way. Show return, and okay, let's do this. The exit code is the overall thing. We are not quitting it. That's why. SLP. Let's say I am after the alert show. I'm after alert, right? So in this way, we're gonna see this. If we have the show and the wait, we're supposed to see this print line after we close the pop-up window, right? So now we have this. Oh, I already click on the select. Let's do it again. Okay, refresh. We didn't make our selection. So now when I click on test, the alert should come up, but this I am after the alert won't show, right? As long as we close the window, this thing will show. Okay, so not showing here, but I'm expecting it to show up right after we close this window. Yeah, I am after alert, right? So now let's kill it and do this show only. So in this one, if I were right, it should show up no matter we close the window or not, right? So now we're gonna say next. No, not next. Just run it. We didn't do our selection to trigger this thing. You see, this is the difference, right? This is the difference. Oh my god. Okay, so now we have made all of those happen. Let's do a quick wrap up. So it's more like we find out all the files we need, and then we also find out their specific file name to prepare our output part, right? Because the in and out, the root folders are different. And then we are using the filter to filter out all those source folders. We are only focusing on the standard, regular files, right? Yeah, that's pretty much of it. And also we handled, what if we have kind of no selection made on the list view. So then, yeah, we handle it, and also demonstrate what's the difference between alert, show, and wait. All right. I hope you like it. We're gonna see you in the next episode.